When caring too much starts to hurt. Let's be honest. We're taught from a young age to care. Care about grades, appearances, opinions, success, everything. And while caring shows compassion and effort, there's a fine line between being thoughtful and being consumed. When we start caring too much, life gets heavier. We begin measuring our worth by how others see us. Every comment, every reaction, every tiny bit of criticism feels like a personal attack. Studies have shown that people who constantly seek approval from others tend to experience higher levels of stress and anxiety. It's like carrying an invisible backpack filled with everyone else's expectations. You start living for their comfort, not your own. And that's exhausting. Because no matter how much you try, you'll never please everyone. Someone will always think you're too loud, too quiet, too ambitious, or not ambitious enough. The truth is, the world will always have an opinion, but it doesn't mean you have to carry it with you.
The shift happens quietly. Something powerful happens when you start to let go. It's not dramatic or loud. It's quiet. You just stop explaining yourself so much. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing to prove your worth. And that's when life begins to feel lighter. It's like flipping a switch. One day, you realize you've been holding on too tightly to people, to outcomes, to an image of who you think you're supposed to be. And then, slowly, you loosen your grip. You let things flow. You start choosing peace over perfection, calm over chaos. And strangely enough, when you stop caring so desperately about everything, you begin to attract the right things naturally. Think about it. When you're not constantly trying to please everyone, you have more time and energy to focus on what truly fulfills you. That's when you start to glow differently. People notice. You seem calmer, more confident. And ironically, that's when the respect you were chasing finally starts to find you.
Freedom feels different. When you stop caring, you don't become careless, you become free. There's a difference. You stop giving energy to things that drain you and start putting it into things that grow you. You realize not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion is worth hearing, and not every moment needs your reaction. Imagine walking through your day without constantly checking your phone to see who texted back or refreshing social media to compare your life with someone else's. Imagine saying no without guilt or setting boundaries without explaining them. That's real freedom. And the best part? You start to feel more like yourself again. You laugh more easily. You sleep better. You begin to understand that peace isn't something you find. It's something you protect. And every time you stop caring about the noise, you're choosing peace. You're choosing you. People treat you differently. Here's the interesting part. When you stop caring so much, people start treating you differently. The same people who once took advantage of your kindness start noticing your boundaries. Those who used to drain your energy begin to fall away. And those who truly respect you, they stay. It's human nature. We teach people how to treat us by what we allow. When you stop chasing approval, others can sense it. You stand taller. You speak with more certainty. You stop over-apologizing for existing. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. Suddenly, your silence becomes more powerful than your explanations. Your presence starts to speak louder than your words. People are drawn to that quiet confidence, that kind of energy that says, I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm here to live. And the best part is, you don't even need to prove it. It just shows.
The power of indifference. Now, indifference doesn't mean you stop caring about everything. It simply means you stop giving energy to the things that don't matter in the long run. When you stop caring about meaningless drama, gossip, or trying to control how others see you, your mind finally gets space to breathe. You start to notice how much calmer your life becomes. Little things that used to annoy you, a rude comment, a slow driver, an unanswered message, don't hit as hard anymore. You realize that not everything deserves a reaction. Sometimes silence is stronger than words. There's actually science behind this too. Studies show that emotional detachment from unnecessary stressors helps reduce cortisol levels, the hormone responsible for stress. That means the less you care about trivial things, the more your mind and body start to heal. You think clearer, you act with more intention. You stop reacting and start responding. And that's when you start to feel in control. You start attracting peaceful people and opportunities. It's funny how energy works. When you're constantly stressed, trying to impress, or worrying about how others see you, you attract chaos. But when you stop caring so much, when you relax into who you are, life begins to match that energy. People who value peace are drawn to you. Conversations become more genuine. You start connecting with people who don't need you to perform, only to be real. And opportunities start flowing in, not because you're chasing them, but because you're finally aligned with what you actually want. When you stop forcing things, life has a way of working itself out. You stop rushing, you stop chasing, and suddenly what's meant for you finds its way without all the noise and struggle. That's the power of letting go. When you stop caring about what you can't control, everything you can control starts to fall into place.
You learn to value yourself more. When you care too much about what others think, you start to lose sight of your own worth. But when you stop caring, that changes completely. You begin to realize that your value doesn't come from who likes you or who approves of you. It comes from who you are when no one's watching. You stop settling for less. You stop chasing validation. You start setting standards, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. You start saying things like, "I deserve better than this," and meaning it. That's not selfish, it's growth. When you stop caring about being liked, you start focusing on being real, and that's where confidence comes from. Not from perfection, but from authenticity. The kind of confidence that says, "I know who I am, and that's enough."
The world doesn't end when you stop caring. It might sound dramatic, but many of us fear that if we stop caring, we'll lose everything: friends, success, respect. But what usually happens is the opposite. You gain more of what actually matters. You realize that people who truly care about you don't need constant explanations. They don't get offended by your boundaries. They understand when you choose peace over drama. And the rest, they simply drift away, making room for better things. Life doesn't fall apart when you stop caring. It falls into place. You start noticing beauty in simple moments. You stop rushing through your days trying to prove your worth. You start living, not performing.
Everything changes when you choose peace. When you stop caring about every little thing, life begins to feel different. The noise fades, the pressure lessens. You finally start to hear your own thoughts again. You start asking yourself questions like, "What do I want?" Or "What actually makes me happy?" And you begin living by those answers. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing where your care goes. Because when you stop caring about the wrong things, you make space for the right ones. You find time for hobbies, for people who lift you up, for quiet moments that refill your soul. You start realizing that peace isn't boring, it's powerful. And maybe, just maybe, the version of you that stops caring so much is the version you were meant to be all along.